Hello, good evening, happy Sunday, guys. Let me just see if I've got things running here. Oh, it looks like we do. Good evening. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. Good evening. This is Tara with Tara. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm gonna slide that up just a little bit. This is Tara Beth. Hey Karen, thanks for joining me. This is Tara Carpenter. I'm with Tara Beth Stamps. I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in mid-Missouri. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday evening with me. It's been a beautiful weekend here in mid-Missouri. We had some rain early on, but man, it got gorgeous. And I almost didn't get this card done today. So thanks for popping in. What we are doing today is we're going to use some new product. This is going to be available starting Tuesday. Finally, the new catalog is going live on Tuesday. I am counting down the seconds because some of this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the steps that we were, hey Mary, thanks for joining me. Some of the stuff we were able as a demonstrator to purchase a little early. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know. I'm going to have the dimensions of all of this on my blog tomorrow. So if you miss something or I miss a question, yay, Karen, I agree. I'm ready for that catalog. My list is far and long and wide. So this is the card we're making. It is a fun fold. This is using some of that beautiful DSP versus cardstock as your base. So that's what it looks like. Super easy, very fun card to make that's just gorgeous. Hey Amy, thanks for joining me. That uses up this gorgeous DSP that we've got going on, and there's so many great collections coming out on Tuesday. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is pull out my Simply Score tool, and hopefully we get it done right. So here we go. So there's a couple of things that you need to do when you're doing your card. When you're cutting your paper, you need to make sure and decide whether you're going to go landscape or portrait with this. So this one I went landscape. So if you have a pattern that runs like this is more of a cluster, but it looks to me like it's facing up, like this is the top, this is the bottom, and it's going this direction. So I don't think I would want it to go like that. So make sure when you're cutting your paper, this is 4 1/4 by 12. When you're cutting your paper, make sure you're paying attention to both sides and making sure that you're getting the paper the way you want it. So because of that, I'm gonna fold this out here and make sure I'm going to flip it around because this is where I want the one at. So hopefully that works out for me. So I'm going to score at 1 inch using my Simply Score tool. I'm going to score at 5 inches. And as I said, hey Gloria, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'm going to score at 5 1/2. And as I said, all these dimensions are going to be available on my blog tomorrow. So that's all we need with the score tool. So I'm going to set that out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this small 1 inch piece. This is going to be this border right here that we've got there. I'm going to let the DSP do all the work for me. So I'm going to burnish this really well. Then I'm going to fold that so that it's good and burnished, and then we're going to fold this in. So you see it kind of meets it, but not really. There's just a small little edge that you can see kind of in between. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal and just apply that so that that trim edge can go right down there. So just burnish it really well. So that's all you have to do for the card base. Because it's DSP, it is kind of floppy versus using cardstock, but that's why I've used several mats and layers to kind of give it the stability that that card needs. So This is the Hues of Happiness DSP that's going to be available on Tuesday. So I'm just going to pull this out so you can kind of see some of the other patterns that are available. So I am using these flowers, but the awesome thing about these is you can use the Blossom Happiness dies and all of these flowers and leaves cut out with these dies. So it makes it so you don't have to fussy cut it. It makes it super easy. You have this beautiful spiral edge to use that finishes off a card and makes it look really beautiful. This is just a die cut that you put on the center of a piece to give you a little bit of peekaboo and embossing. Beautiful, beautiful. So this is just a really great set. You can look at all of these colors, gorgeous paper. I am absolutely in love with all of it. I love, love, love that one. I would have done the card in that one, but I may have already used most of it. So that'll be on Tuesday's order. More of that. Yay, no fussy cutting. I agree, Amy. Definitely not. I'm not a fan. All right, so what I did for the outside was I cut a small piece of Pool Party and ran it through my die cut machine, and this will work with the mini machine. So if you've just got the mini, it will work. And I just placed this along the edge right here, and I taped it down and ran it through the machine, and it creates this little notebook spiral look, just to kind of give your edges a fun, festive look. Okay, then I'm going to take my stamp and ink it up with some gorgeous grape. And so I got this stamp set from the Happiness Abounds stamp set, which is part of this bundle. So I'm just going to sit here. Because it's a photopolymer, we really don't have to worry about lining it up because it should work out well. Okay, let's close that. Make sure I don't get inky fingers all over the place. Oh, we can go ahead and stamp the inside sentiment as well while we have it out. Get those out of the way. So with these long sentiments, they don't always work. So I use these paper pumpkin blocks that I really love. So they don't always work on that block that everybody's got. So if you put them like across the diagonal, it allows you to use that smaller block for those longer sentiments. I use my grid paper when I'm stamping that just to make sure that I get a really good even stamp. Okay. All right, so we'll set that out of the way. So I'm going to take this die cut that I created from the DSP, just cut it out with the dies, and I'm going to, first I need to do my thread. I've got some white baker's twine from the basic twine collection, and I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers about 3 or 4 times till I get just enough that I like it. All right, I am going to take my Stampin' Seal and just put a little bit there. I'm going to put a little bit more. And I'm going to figure 8 that and put it right across that seal. There we go. So it's going to hang off just a little bit, which is fine. And it may not look perfect as you're looking at it, but once you cover it up, it looks really good. I'm going to decide how I want to lay my flower. So I like that. And so I'm going to make sure that I have my dimensionals on the sides right here. So I'm just going to add my dimensionals to the sides, leaving this middle part open so that it's not going to interfere with my thread there. Now I'm going to take another die cut that I have from there. So I cut out the leaves as well. So the way I make my paper last longer is I go ahead and kind of fussy cut, in between each section, so I'm wasting as little as possible. So I may cut out like this flower and then this flower with these leaves. You know, that way I'm conserving as much of it as I can. Okay, so let's take some liquid adhesive and put it on my leaf. And I'm just going to thread it down here underneath. Okay, so that's all I did for the front. I'm going to add my Stampin' Dimensionals to give it a little bit of oomph. Okay, so Stampin' Up! They have a wonderful special that starts May the 3rd. If you are interested in all of these new colors, which are by far, I didn't think they could do better than last year, and man, I think I was wrong. All right, there we go. So they have an amazing special. Reach out to me. It's pretty awesome. I'd love for you to join my team. We've got a nice team building up, and just looking for a few more. All right, so for the front, I'm finishing off with these polished dots. I'm just going to add a couple of the big ones. I didn't take my pick tool in the room, so I'm just kind of doing this willy-nilly. There we go. Then we'll do just a small one right up there. There we go. All right, so that's all it takes for the inside, or for the front of the card. Super easy. You can throw several of these together really quick. For the inside, I have a pool party mat that's not exactly as big as I normally do for a mat. That way you can see all this gorgeous DSP underneath. So we're going to adhere the basic white to the pool party mat, and that's just to give all that stability that I was telling you about. Yeah. Okay. Now we'll put the mat inside, and I think I've got a flower to glue on the corner there. I think I cut enough for that. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that I've got an even side on all of these and that it's nice and straight. And here is a flower and another leaf. So I'm going to glue those on to the bottom here. And I love when you can let the DSP do all the work for you. All right. There we go. Super, super easy, gorgeous card. Doesn't take hardly any time at all. The only tricky part is scoring the DSP. And honestly, I did like a 1-inch score line, and I have it in a book that I pull out so that I have it and know to remind me how I want it to go. So I just tested out with that smaller one. All right, so let's do an envelope, because we can't just send it in a plain one. So I have a rose from the Happiness Abounds stamp set that we're gonna ink up with some Mementos black ink. And I am going to, stamp it over here in the corner. Thanks, Amy. I'm glad you like it. All right. We're going to take back that gorgeous grape, and you can see I've got some ink just on the inside of my lid, and I'm just going to do some painting with the blender pen. And I'm going to start out in the middle, because that's where you can kind of make it a little darker. And then just lighter on the edges there. I did the other envelope with a watercolor, and I was afraid that would not be a good idea. It took a long time to dry. That's right, Mary. If I learned anything from you, it's never to send that naked envelope. All right. So as I said, perfect special starting May the 3rd. It's gonna be DSP, stamp set or stamp pads, and then the matching DSP. So you'll get cardstock, DSP, and then the stamp sets or stamp pads. So you'll be able to go make anything with those because they're just gorgeous, all of them. All right, so there's the flower. And then I'm gonna put some coordinating cardstock just back here on the back. And then we'll be done. New catalog, don't forget, Tuesday. Starts at 3 a.m. I think. I don't plan to be up that early, but I may have to, you know, expedite that shipping so I can have it before. We're going to West Virginia next weekend, so I'm gonna try to have it here before we leave so I can really wallow in not being at home with it next weekend. So hopefully we'll have some beautiful cards on my blog the week after with some of that new product that I can't wait to get my hands on. All right, there we go. There's that edge. Here's the finished card. Oh, there's a dimensional cover. All right, so thanks so much for joining me. This one was nice and short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to you doing another one next Sunday night. If you've got any questions about that new catalog, reach out to me via email or Facebook. Either way is great. I'll have the dimensions on my blog tomorrow at terabeth.blogspot.com. And thanks so much.